All right, the last set of notes are on section 5.6. Okay, kind of our third set of notes on evolution. Okay, a little evolution of Homer. Okay, speciation and evolution. So a species can be thought of as a population of individuals who are reproductively isolated. So they're not capable of breeding with individuals of other species under natural conditions. Most new species are believed to arise by a three-step process called allopatric speciation. Okay, so speciation and evolution. Okay, first, how it happens is we get a physical barrier separates a single interbreeding population into two or more groups that are isolated from one another. Okay, so we have this forest. Okay, they're split. Okay, a river forms a gorge in between. Okay, and we get these two different species of trees on either side because of this. Okay, so we have a physical barrier that separates these populations. Okay, and now we got a different species. Okay, natural selection works on separate groups independently, resulting in inherited differences in the two populations. So they evolve independently, and these changes are influenced by the environment. Okay, and then over time, accumulated differences between the populations become so pronounced that the group should they be united, would no longer be sexually compatible. At this point, they have now formed two or more distinct species. Okay, so what happens? They're all one species here. Over time, okay, we have this barrier in the middle. Okay, that causes these to be isolated for some reason. These ones are going to undergo natural selection on this side, and these will undergo natural selection on this side. But the problem is they're not interbreeding with each other at all. Eventually, the natural selection would give us enough enough variation that they become two separate species. Okay, and then they should, after a long enough time, they'll become these two distinct species that are not compatible anymore with each other. Okay. Physical barriers range in size from either a mountain range to river channels to canyons. Human construction, such as dams and canals, may produce insurmountable physical barriers to small organisms as well, which can change their evolution. Okay, and so speciation can also occur when a single population splits into distinct breeding populations. Okay, this can be a sudden process. One form occurs when mutation occurs in a population, causing affected individuals to only be able to mate with one another. Okay, and so again, we kind of discussed that a little bit last time, what causes these mutations. Okay, and so once we have these mutations, if they're only able to mate with each other, the ones with the mutations, we're going to get a new species because they can no longer mate with the other ones, and so they're two separate. Okay, the rate of evolution. So until the mid-20th century, most biologists thought that changes to species occur at a slow, steady pace. So that's called the theory of gradualism. It takes a really long time. Okay, using this theory, we could expect to find many fossils that showed small changes in species over time. Instead, though, distinct species often appear abruptly in the fossil record, and then a little further change is seen for a very long time. So the rate of evolution, so in 1972, Niles Eldredge proposed the theory of punctuated equilibrium. So this accounts for the patterns in the fossil record. So his theory has three main assertions. So the first one, many species evolve rapidly, and that speciation usually happens in small, isolated populations, so intermediate fossils are rare. And after an initial burst of evolution, species then adapt so they do not change significantly over long periods of time. So this kind of just looking at, so with the rate of evolution, so both theories are very different, okay, from each other. They're both needed to understand the fossil record. So they kind of, even though they're different, we need both of them. So looking at this punctuated equilibrium, okay, we have this one kind of pinkish bellied bird, okay, punctuated equilibrium, all of a sudden it has babies, and we get these mutations. One might be yellow, one this darker color, and so all of a sudden, and like they only breed with each other, and so all of a sudden we get these new species. Okay, gradualism would show like these kind of intermediate, like they start changing these colors over time. Okay, the light ones might only breed with the lighter ones, the darker ones with the pinkier ones with the red ones, and so on. And so we get these changes in colors and new species. Macroevolution is looking again like macro, meaning large scale kind of thing. So since life began on Earth, there's been an increase in diversity of living things. Okay, looking at our geological time scale. So we have our Earth, okay, and then our different, like, life started around here, okay, it starts to evolve, okay, and like again, like this is life really has evolved since about, this is million or billion years ago, I think 630, or sorry, no, I can't, but if you look through this, and like I think there's a video I'll show you on it later, okay, we can kind of see like the increase in diversity of living things as it's come away from like our start here on Earth. Okay, so macroevolution. So the Paleozoic era began with a rapid increase in the number of species, which we called the Cambrian explosion. It ended about 245 million years ago. Whenever you see that Maya, million years ago is what that means. Okay, with the Permian extinction. Okay, this Cambrian explosion is evidence for something called divergent evolution. This is when species rapidly evolve into many different species. Okay. This trend of growth has been interrupted by several major extinction events, okay, such as the dinosaurs. Okay. With macroevolution, so at the end of the Paleozoic era, a series of cataclysmic events eradicated more than 90% of the known marine species. Then the Permian extinction causes, the Permian extinction causes are unknown, but scientists hypothesized it had something to do with the tectonic movements. The Mesozoic era extinction is one of the more well-known extinctions. This is the end of the dinosaurs. This extinction also has no known cause, but there are a few theories, the most well-known being that a meteor hit the Earth, causing a drastic change in temperature, that the dinosaurs could not adapt quickly enough, so they all died. Okay, while mass extinctions are dramatic, it is important to keep in mind that most extinctions of species result from ongoing evolutionary forces of competition and environmental change. All right, and that's the end of the notes. Okay, hopefully you're able to watch some of the YouTube videos.